Local 3 Storm Alert Team.
I happened to read an article yesterday that was talking about how our brains work as we get older, and it was kind of referencing the type of job you have when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s to how your brain's going to react as you get older. So fittingly in life, Charles Miller happens to be on the show this morning. He's with Scenic City Neurotherapy, and he sat down. His topic was kind of preventing our brains atrophying in a way as we get older with early intervention. Is that right?
That's right. That's absolutely right. What we do is we focus on keeping the brain communicating in a healthy way. A lot of times what we do gets a lot of attention from a mental health perspective, but what we do is so groundbreaking in just global brain health. The way our brain communicates, not just emotionally, but the way our brain communicates with our body, the way we retain memories, the way our, the aging brain is able to keep up with things and keep itself.
So this article was, I can't remember the type of job it was saying specifically, but if you have a job that does require you to do a lot of critical thinking, problem solving, that type of thing, new experiences every day, it tends to be healthier for you in the long run than a job that is a little bit more repetitive. And if you have that type of a job, which is fine, just be aware of it.
Yeah, I can see it in my demographic of patients, those that struggle from not just a mental health perspective, but just from coping, from feeling like they're worn down. Nurses being the number one demographic that I treat just from an observation. And then second is just entrepreneurs, people who are running their own business.
Well, that's kind of counter then to what I read, because that's anything but repetitive.
Right. It's. I think the repetitive task keeps our brain isolated to where we're lighting up the same pathways all the time. But what we see with nursing, in particular, there's a lot of critical thinking, but there is a lot of going through the motions. Checking these boxes. And I know that's one of the great frustrations among nurses right now.
Well, or that in the nursing profession, it's always somebody who's needing something. And there's an emotional tug.
Often overextended too. I think that's another thing we see, is that breakdown and deterioration. You have somebody, I tell people that time is our currency, and then they give us money for that time. And so we're selling our time, we're selling our energies. And when we're doing a job like what we do with nursing, we are, it's all about, they give a lot of themselves, it's high stress, it's high cost if they don't do their job correctly.
You're here so often, and then I make the mistake of forgetting that some people watching might not know exactly what you do at Scenic City Neurotherapy. So you deal with ketamine infusions. You're a nurse anesthetist by training. He does more than anybody in the world, actually. You work closely with veterans and the VA, first responders. Obviously, the everyday people, though, too, who are battling depression, anxiety, PTSD. This helps to alleviate it.
It does. What we do rebuilds the brain's ability to cope, function, communicate, optimizing functionality, mood regulation by enhancing the way the brain talks to itself, enhancing global brain health.
Okay, so does that mean, then back to this article, and I think kind of where you were going, a lot of us are trying to get in shape for summer. Are you suggesting that if you're before the problems arise, kind of get your brain in shape?
You can be proactive. I have many patients that do this as a prophylaxis, as like over the age of say 50, the brain naturally starts to slow down. Well, I have several patients that do this just to keep their aging brain optimized. What we do is very physiologically passive. It's very safe. There's no potential for dependency, no need for a wean off from our treatment process.
Right.
And so patients are able to utilize this as a tool to keep them the best version of themselves.
I want you to say that part one more time, though. That was pretty big. There's no risk of dependency.
Not the way we do it. The only time we've ever seen any trouble with certain types of anesthetics like ketamine is when people abuse them, self-administer them. But the treatments that we give, they're infrequent, and they're far enough apart, and they're rapid acting. That means they go in quickly and they get out quickly. Where we see problems with dependency, it's when medications stay in the body a long time. It's like even something that we don't normally think of as creating a dependency, like an antidepressant. You know, coming off of an antidepressant, you can't just stop taking it. You could have significant side effects, even potentially life-threatening side effects from withdrawal from the antidepressant.
But not the case here.
But that is not the case here.
I have about a minute left, not quite. If someone's watching and they do not currently have someone who is helping them with their mental health issue, they can come to you. You like to kind of help them through it, consult, but help them through it, see what the end result is, and from there help them find someone. Is that right?
Yeah, we find the deficits, and then we try to help them fill their mental health team, the holes that are in their team, because we are one piece of a process. We are not the whole process itself. We're just the physiology, but then there's the psychology, and then there's the lifestyle that goes into it, and those things happen with your counselor.
I didn't mention this part, but you also help people with chronic pain, migraines, fibromyalgia. So that's also something for you to know. Really, and you treat as young as?
It's a soft limit of 18, but we will go below 18. We've treated as young as 14, but in that case, it's on a case-by-case basis, specifically including the child's provider.
And if you've dealt with it for a long time, it's never too late to start.
Absolutely. If your brain is alive, it's functioning, it can grow, it can improve.
Scenic City Neurotherapy. Charles Miller is his name. You'll find them over on Shallowford Road. There's their phone number, 228-2579. Online, ScenicCityNeurotherapy.com. It's a lot to take in, so read for yourself and then come spend an hour with him and he'll educate you even more at no cost to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Really? That is incredible.
It's the best job in the world.
And that said a whole lot. We have evidence of that. Absolutely.